Yo, 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 welcome to the Flex Zone. It's your man, it's your boy, it's your host, your friendly reminder, Jay Henderson. I'm here with Miss Chastity Butler. Um, I'm going to let her do her own introduction. She has that kind of personality and that kind of energy. So go ahead, Miss Butler.
Well, I'm going to just introduce myself the natural way. I have a lot of things going on, but I'm just going to introduce myself as Chastity Butler, your homegirl from Tallulah, Louisiana, and I'm a licensed counselor in the state of Louisiana. I've been licensed since, I believe that was 2013. So I've been giving advice, talking to folks about their mental health, actually going back further than that before I got licensed. So I'm just Chastity. I'm just your regular neighborhood counselor.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what made you choose that field?
It's crazy, Jay, because I didn't actually go into choosing to be a counselor. I actually, when I was growing up, I watched the Cosby Show. I wanted to be an OBGYN. Then when I got to high school, I changed that. Law and Order was big at that time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a black lawyer. I'm going to, convict all the criminals. No, I'm going to make all the money and I'm going to defend all the criminals. So I went through that phase. But as time went on, life happened. I had my son and I just kind of just switched gears. And I kind of fell into counseling. And I really think that was God, because I couldn't have orchestrated where my life is today and what I've been able to accomplish. So I have to give credit to God, because it wasn't me. I didn't choose to be a counselor, but I do believe that counseling is my calling.
Yeah.
Yep.
So are you just based in the state of Louisiana, or are you branched out?
I am based in the state of Louisiana right now, but I have plans for 2023 to become licensed in the surrounding states. That's Mississippi, Texas, and Arkansas.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Yeah. You are a very, very busy person. On the what you was telling me last night about being on the board and your plans, even just, I think being a counselor within itself, from talking to my therapist some years ago, and just knowing some of the things that some of the people and aspects of the job that y'all deal with, I could imagine it can be real stressful. But you being an African-American woman and taking up the things that you do around the community and for the people, along with running your own business, being an entrepreneur, I can imagine it can be pretty stressful at times, maybe.
Stressful is not the word, but it's when you love what you do.
Yeah.
That's the fuel. That's going. That's how you can kind of gauge if you might need to reset some things. If you're something and you're going and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you're constantly tired, you're stressed out, you bring the job home, that may not be, something that is for you, and you might.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to me, because, you being an African-American male, it's very rare to hear that African-American males have sought therapy. So just first of all, commend you for that. But back to what you were saying, yes, it can be stressful, but I know that that it's a bigger picture, a bigger purpose. And like I said, this is my life's calling. So this is what I do. And it doesn't feel like work. It's like work when you're doing what you feel like that you were born to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the numbers and the percent, 13.4% of the U.S. population, nearly 46 million people identify as Black or African American. Mm-hmm. And among those, with the numbers that's in the statistics, that's in the facts, and just overall situation with African American people, when it comes to therapy and counseling, just like you said, you said you commend me, and so many people, I think, in our culture, in our background, I was trying to go by guy, but I really just want to just generalize this in real conversation. So many people in our culture and our background, they do have that thing as to where they feel. If I think it's, I don't know if it's a fear. I don't know if it would be considered.
Actually, it's an overall general mistrust of medical professionals. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not a doctor. I can't prescribe pills or,
yeah,
perform surgery on anyone. But being a licensed therapist, you're still considered a healthcare practitioner. And
yeah,
overall, Black people, and rightfully so, Black people historically have been subjected to experimental type things over the years. You've heard of the Tuskegee experiment, and
yeah,
further
yeah.
back, the practice of medicine they practiced on Black people. So
Wow.
historically, we have just an overall general mistrust of medical practitioners. So that's why it's important that people who look like me, we have to go like doing speaking engagements, doing events or in functions and stuff like this podcast
Yeah,
to just get the word out, that medical care, mental health therapy, counseling, that stuff is good. And if
yeah,
you're going with a practitioner that happens to look like you, the statistics show that you will receive, 9 times out of 10 you're going to receive better care because their practitioner identifies with you, your struggle, what you may be going through. So that's
gotcha.
why I feel like, in addition to the counseling, the one-on-one therapy, it's my job and other practitioners of color's job to get the word out, educate the communities that you come from, educate African American communities and other multicultural communities about the importance of taking care of not only your physical health but your mental as well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So when it comes to because I think when African Americans, we deal with a different type of trauma
Definitely.
when it comes to dehumanization and other acts of violence that has been inflicted upon us over the years when it comes to the police
Right.
or situations like that. And the way crime is increasing in the world and smaller communities, mainly our communities,
Right.
where they are constantly building liquor stores and they are constantly building prisons.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
what is it?
Stuff, whether we really hone in and choose to realize that or not, that affects us daily. When
Yeah,
our kids are growing up in certain communities and they see certain things in their communities on television, in their own family, sometimes at school, whatever the case may be, that is something that is technically defined as trauma.
yeah,
Trauma is not, what we think about on TV, seeing someone get shot 50 times and
yeah,
trauma, but other things are trauma as well. You see what
yeah,
I'm saying? So when kids, Black kids or, Latino kids who come from low socioeconomic communities,
yeah,
they internalize things differently from a kid who is not exposed to certain other things, certain
yeah,
crime elements, the trauma, the generational trauma, like you alluded to. They grow up differently. They see things differently. So whenever we're talking about things like therapy and counseling, we have to come from that perspective. We have to come from a perspective that knows the background.
yeah,
Okay, because can you imagine a little kid who has a certain set of things that he's gone through in his life, and he goes to a practitioner that does not look like him?
yeah,
Generalized, they're going to probably be labeled as I don't know, the bad kid, or handed medication, where and they could be just overall misdiagnosed because they are unfamiliar with the cultural backgrounds. So
yeah,
again, that's why it's important for people who look like you and I to get out there and educate the community.
yeah. So what are I just like you have we see we see what a lot of the world don't see when it comes to where we're from. Some of the areas around, and there are so many different types of mental illnesses, and some people have a way of uh, hiding behind
Yes.
this persona. You know,
Yes. Because check it out, Jay. It's like we as a people are strong.
yeah,
We have been taught to basically not just taught, but just internalize carrying the weight of the world on our backs. So in order to seek therapy, you have to break some barriers. You have to tell yourself, you have to tell your kids, you have to tell your friends, your family that you're not weak if you go seek counseling, if you go to seek help, you know, but we have to get past that bravado and that barrier and that wall that makes us feel and internalize the, you know, the weight of the world and thinking that we have to be strong for our people. That's not weak. In order, you know, to go to therapy, that's not being
right
or anything. That's taking care of your mental, just like you take care of your physical.
Yeah,
right.
And it's just like I don't know when it comes to our men. I think it's a difference in the generation when it comes to. I like to separate things by the 70s babies. Yeah. I like to.
I'm 70s baby. You know, I grew and I feel like I caught. And this is just me. I feel like I caught the best of both worlds because being born in the 70s, I got a lot of the old school things, but you know, I still feel like now I'm young enough to appreciate, you know, some of the things that's coming along now, but I still have that old school background and that old school, you know, rearing and bringing up. Listening to all the old folks who have, you know, mostly passed on now, but basically mixing the good or the new with the old. So I feel like I'm in a real unique position as far as when I was born and the times that I'm living in now. I'm able to appreciate the old, incorporate some of those things, some of the good things, some of that structure, and bring it up to the times. You know, so I feel like I was just in a unique position to be, you know, a 70s baby, getting that stuff from the old school and bringing it up to now.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of changes, and I'm 45 years old, and I can remember when the price of everything was a whole lot less than it is now, and the mentality, the personality of the people, you didn't really see a lot of what we see now.
True.
As far as exposure and the things that people just feel free to do and free to say in the music, in the entertainment world. Right. It's just like another type of freedom. I think, me personally, my opinion, I think sometimes it can be misleading. I think sometimes it plays a role in a lot of the mental health situations that we are dealing with today, because it seems like the younger generation is in a struggle. When it comes to who they are as an individual.
Yes.
You know, and when it comes to
right. If we don't take care of our kids and tell them and help them to internalize who they are, the world is going to tell them who they are. Okay? Yeah. I want the world to tell them who they are. Right. I want to be the ones to guide and to groom and to bring up the next generation, because I feel like we're in the best position to help our kids. We do not want the outside, you know, the outside world to tell our kids that they're bad or they can't do this or they can't do that. Growing up in Lula, you know, we lacked a lot in terms of, you know, worldly resources, but we were very rich in that feeling of community, especially back then. You know, growing up in Tallulah, maybe back then it might have had 9,000-10,000 people back then. But back then, that small town, I saw everything I needed to see. Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black teachers, Black homemakers, 2-parent households. Like, we saw everything we needed to see in that community. And that community taught us who we were before we were able to go out into the world, and the world confused us and tell us who we are. So I grew up feeling like, I live in Tallulah, but I didn't know any better. I knew, or I grew up thinking that I could do or be whoever I wanted to be. My
Yeah.
parents, you know, they are from Northeast Louisiana originally and
Yeah.
moved to Tallulah in the 50s. And, you know, I was born and raised there. My son was actually born in Tallulah. So
Wow.
before we moved to Monroe, Louisiana, when he was 4, he was
Yeah.
born in Tallulah. So
Wow.
we got the family. We got that visual of people who look like us
Yeah.
doing amazing things, growing up doing amazing things and going out into the world. And so I appreciate that background.
Yeah. And you know, when it comes to you and your son, I tell you, I myself, I couldn't be more proud to have a person that has set the bar and represents a state, not just a city, represents a state and us as a race of people from Tallulah.
Yes.
We do have people from Tallulah that do amazing things, but I couldn't be more proud to hear people. I lived in Maryland just before we moved to Atlanta. We lived in Maryland, and to hear people that far away from home say Cam, or just to mention, you know, and I can tell them, well, I know his grandmother, his mother, you know what I'm saying? That kind of, it's a real fulfilling thing to be associated, you know. Yeah, and it proves. I think it proves that it does not matter where you're from. It's what you do with.
That's it.
You know.
And you have to be intentional about that as well.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional about. I'm sorry, because I have my screen up over there and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Popping up. But anyway, yeah, you have to be intentional about that kind of thing. A lot, if you don't already know me, when people meet me now, or
yeah,
I don't really just lead in with, "Hey, I'm Chastity Butler. I'm Cameron Sims' mother." You know,
yeah.
like that doesn't happen. You know, but as the time goes on, and when people find that out, it's like, "Well, you didn't tell me your son's like what you asked." You know, that's his job. Like, you know, he's just a regular kid, just walking around. He's very humble, great kid. When you see him, not flashy at all. But yeah, that's just kind of what we do. We just kind of live our life, do what we feel like we were put on earth to do. And you know, me, like I said, as being counseling and educating the African American community, especially about mental health conditions, mental health education, self-care, and things of that nature. And you know, he's doing his thing. He's going into his sixth year in the league. He has daughters, so you know, I can't complain. We experience struggles and, you know, trials just like the next person, but it's all how you deal with that thing, because none of us are exempt from that. It's how we move forward, and that's what makes
and I as young black men, I think I hear people that try to reiterate this in TV shows. They try to tabula rasa, a young mind not yet affected by experience. If you hadn't experienced it, I could tell you about it all day, but you still don't get the effect that I got because I experienced it. When it comes to having to tell our children how to conduct themselves in a traffic stop, or you know, that mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people can never understand,
and it's actually still a fear that's in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
You know, respecting the police.
Yes.
Father is a police officer, been a police officer since the 90s. So I've instilled that in my child to respect the law, respect police officers and law enforcement. But to see what we see on the news and on television, and probably even in our communities, is incongruent. So what do? We were taught to respect the police, and I still do. If something happens, I'm gonna call 911, and I expect to assist me. I don't expect them to treat me like I am the criminal, or I'm the one. Or if they see my son 6'5", you know, tall, African American, long dress, I don't want them to look at him as a threat when he's not. He is a tax-paying, you know, law-abiding citizen as well. So how do we educate even law enforcement.
Yeah.
That not every Black person or every brown person is a threat. So
Yes.
we have had to teach him, if you're, ever stopped or questioned, and it's sad and it's hurtful that we have to do this, but it's about coming home and being safe at the end of the day. So we have to do things. We have to be proactive, and we have to see around the corner when our, counterparts that don't look like us, they don't have to deal with that. They don't have to teach the kids to be afraid of the police or to go through the script if they're stopped. But our experience is different. We have to be uber respectful.
Yes.
Respectful. Show that we're not a threat. Tell them that we're.
Yes.
Is it unfair? Yes. But certain things that we have to do in this country, yes, is it unfair? But it's something that we have to do for right now. But hopefully, I feel like things will get better, and hopefully, we won't have to deal with this in generations to come.
How much of that would you say play a role in the disorder, the mental health disorder? Because that's a lot of stress to have to be careful. Then you have to be aware.
Yeah.
All of that,
certain things can trigger the onset of certain mental health conditions, and things that we go through, like we were saying earlier at the beginning of our session, is that certain things can trigger the onset of certain mental health conditions. And unfortunately, when things like that happen, and we I'm gonna just give an example. Early on, when I became licensed and I started doing psychotherapy with people, we would have, male and females, but mostly young men. Men would come in and they would tell of their conditions, their symptoms. I say not their condition, but their symptoms, because they didn't know that they had a condition. But they would come in. Most times it was court order, because, like I said, sometimes we see that African American men, especially African American, they don't just come and seek counseling on their own. A lot, they are compelled to do so either by law enforcement, different government agencies. But regardless of how they ended up in my chair, they would start to talk, and we would peel back layers, of how they grew up, what they went through, and the stressors that were put on them at different times. And I helped them to make the connection between the stress and the trauma that they may have grown up with, and things that they're experiencing mentally and emotionally and behaviorally, in the here and now. So I help them to make the connection. Sometimes the light comes on, the aha moment happens, and they're able to move forward in life. And none of us are going to be perfect, but we become more aware of the things that affect us mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the better ways to identify? Because like we said earlier, a lot of people try to mask it. And I think some people don't know. I think some people think that that's just who they are. But when somebody can see what you can't see,
right,
in you,
it's like if you can see and a lot of times we think we have negative perceptions of people who may be overly argumentative, always angry, always aggressive.
I've seen people like
speaking negatively about, could be the pair of shoes that you have on. Like someone that's always just negative. Everything that comes out of their mouth is negativity. And people sometimes they tend to shy away from those people because they don't want to be around them because of the way they behave. Now, not always it's a mental health condition. It could just be, just an idiot. Unfortunately, we have just people who just are not good people.
Unfortunately,
sometimes, in some situations, they could be dealing with, a mental health condition that's gone undiagnosed, and they are out here functioning the best that they know how. With the mental health condition that can actually, if they were assessed and properly treated, they could move forward and function in a
Yeah.
much refreshed, a much better and more effective way.
Yeah.
And not always do people have to have a mental health, a diagnosable mental health condition to seek counseling. Some people
Yeah.
would like to have a confidential person to vent and bounce things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's not that you're crazy. I
Yeah.
don't even like to use that word, but I have to because certain people do because of the connotation.
Yeah.
That, you know, therapy is good. Therapy, you can go to a licensed professional that is going to keep everything that you say confidential, and it's not going to go past out of that room and
Yeah.
help you figure some stuff out. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Just figure some
Yes.
stuff out and allow you to let it go in a safe
Yeah.
place, you know, and to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That word, that word vulnerability is something
Yeah.
that we are not, me personally, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like to be vulnerable. I can
Yeah.
only imagine you as a man, you know,
Yeah.
African American
That's true.
man, family, you know, I got a
Yeah.
provider. It's
Yeah.
hard for you to let your walls down and just be vulnerable.
It is. Yeah.
But that's you know, that's the other face or the other facet of
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a diagnosable mental health. You don't have to be depressed. You don't have
Yeah.
to have anxiety or schizophrenia or any type of mood disorders. You could just be coming because you're going through something on your job. You're going
Yeah.
through something in your relationship. You're going
Yeah.
through something with your kids. Your kids are having some issues at school, and you just want to know the best approach to take. So all of that is packaged
Yeah.
into mental health therapy and counseling.
That was really, really helpful. That
Mhm.
just that little piece of information right there, because I think everybody think therapy is wrapped up into one thing,
Yes.
and that's a mental disorder.
Right.
You know, so that was really, really helpful and free game.
Free game.
That was free game.
You can come. People can come see me when they just want to, you know, get it off their chest.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, they're assessing me. They're, you know, they're gonna get the psychiatrist. Nah, that's not what counseling is. That's not
Yeah.
all of what counseling is, I should say.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I think back to the time when I had to see a therapist, and I didn't have to. I chose to, and I thought it was really, really beneficial because I was able to reset. I was able to stop. It's almost like sometimes life get really, really noisy, and it's just like being in a loud room, and you have to tell everybody to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I was able to turn the volume down,
Yeah.
reset, and get on track and get in the direction that I needed to go in. And my life, really, I feel like my life started from that.
I'm glad to hear that because sometimes you do just need that reset, and you need
Yeah.
to help you to figure all those things out.
Yeah.
And press that reset. Help you press that reset button.
Yeah. And just like the topic, beneath the surface, there are so many things that's beneath the surface that we do not deal with. There are so many hurts and so many scars that people walk around, and it's like it's grown with them. It's become a part of you, and that's unnormal.
And they don't know that they can shed that. You know,
Yeah.
they've had it and they've carried it for so long. It has
Yeah.
become a part
Yes.
of their identity, and they
Yeah.
realize that they can shake that identity. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can reset, like you just said.
Yeah.
You press that reset button. You know,
Yes.
that's what counselors. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you do that. We're not
Yeah.
here to tell you what to do with your life. You're the driver. You're in the driver's seat of your life.
Yeah.
You know, so we can't help you or tell you what to do. We can only help you to look at the bigger picture and help you to get some perspective, some guidance, and some motivation to go forward, to move and go forward with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we are it don't even feel like we've been talking for 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness. I love just having the conversations like this.
Yes.
And just, you know, like you said, free game and just talking with people who want.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's much needed when you look at, and not to even just bring a certain individual in, but when you look at Twitch, a month or so ago.
Yeah, ketamine.
Just
right.
Seeing him the day before, the 2 days before on TikTok, and
smiling, dancing, yes,
with his family.
Yeah.
You know, and then to see a person that you think, like, we could look at people and think that they got it all together, they happy, or even with certain levels of success, that thing in your mind or in your subconscious, whatever it is that has a hold of you, it has a way. If you don't get it off you, it has a way of pushing you to a point to where you start to deal with yourself by yourself, and that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
When you need to tell somebody.
Yes, you do.
What you're feeling. Yeah.
You do. And yes, what happened to Twitch and you, so many other people, many other notable people who people recognize are dealing with emotional things, and those people, and it's so unfortunate that they feel like they're by themselves when they, when they're going through things. How many times on television, social media, that people are going through certain things and unfortunately try to harm themselves or unfortunately take their lives. Yeah. We have to get the word out that whatever you are going through, you do not have to go through it alone. Yes. Counseling and therapy, mental health treatment is good. Yes. It's out there. It's confidential. You don't have to go through things alone, and it does get better. What you said, a lot of people will look at others, you, myself, other people, and feel like, we may have everything figured out, or, life is hunky-dory. No, it's not. Life happens to all of us. But it is how we choose to approach that thing and how we choose to move forward. Yeah. And we need help. We need, everybody needs somebody. No man is an island. Yeah. Whatever you choose to surround yourself with positive people. Get those medical professionals in your life if you need them. Yeah. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to hop back out. But the importance of it's very important for people to get counseling. Whenever you are in school, in a counseling program, all of the students are required to be a client. You have to go and sit in that other seat. Yeah. So that you can open yourself up and know what that other person is feeling like, and know that, yes, you may be a therapist. You may be helping people every day, but sometimes, or maybe one day, you're going to need it yourself. Yeah. So that's what we tell others. No, we don't have it all together. It's just how we choose to approach things that happen to us in life. And that's every day. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I want to say to my listeners in the United States, the Philippines, London, wherever you are in the world, that's been supporting this podcast and that's been listening to this podcast. If you have any type of issues, we have a person right here too. People of our color, people of our race and ethnicity, our background, our culture, do not be afraid to reach out for help, to save your life, to be around for your family. Yes. And I'm gonna let you close us out, telling us how you could be reached, and thank you for being here. But you can go ahead and close us out. Well, I can be. Well, mostly I don't really give my phone number out, but I do have a cell that I can be reached at for mental health or educational purposes, events, speaking engagements. I can reach either on social media, and you can just look up my name, Chastity Butler, or I can Chastity Butler Counseling at yahoo.com, or at 318-791-7309. All right. We appreciate y'all. And y'all could check us out on Pandora. You could check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. Y'all know I do this every episode. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. This has been an amazing session, and I think it's going to be a really, really helpful session for people all over the world. For my top cities and my top countries, I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate the love. Thank you, Ms. Butler. Y'all can check out. We'll put the information in the offering to have me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And we will get that information to you. It will be streaming on all platforms. We thank you for listening. You've been in the Flex Zone. Thank you. And we'll get back to together in a chat in a little bit.
All right. Take care, y'all.
All right.